It began like many hip-hop moments today, not with a song or a music video, but with a brief clip. Rick Ross, embodying his trademark boss persona, casually spoke on camera and made a statement that ignited a cultural firestorm. In his smooth, measured voice, he revealed that he used to take 50 Cent's youngest son, Sire Jackson, fishing while the boy's mother was on Star Island creating content with Diddy. It didn't come off as a diss. It lacked the sharpness of a typical rap feud. Yet, it resonated more powerfully than any diss track could, due to its implications and the people involved. Welcome to Celebrity Cookies, where the tea is always hot and the stories come with sprinkles of surprise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment with your take on the story. Ross wasn't merely name-dropping for attention or trying to revive an old rivalry without reason. This moment was part of a broader narrative, a subtle conflict of ego, legacy, and masculinity that has been simmering in hip-hop for nearly 20 years. The history between Rick Ross and 50 Cent goes back to the late 2000s, when both were at their peak. However, this situation transcended music. It became deeply personal. You could sense it in Ross's tone. He wasn't bragging about a hit song or a new business venture. He was introspective, calm, calculated, and perhaps a bit vindictive. In just one sentence, he crafted an image that resonated far deeper than a mere insult. He portrayed himself as the father figure, the stable provider, while the boy's biological father was absent and his mother was elsewhere, entangled in the chaos surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. To truly grasp why this moment struck such a chord, we need to revisit the history between Rick Ross and 50 Cent. Their feud isn't new or fabricated. It traces back to 2009 when Ross took offense at 50's perceived slight at the BET Awards. What started as a petty incident escalated into one of the most brutal rivalries in rap, marked by diss tracks, public humiliations, and real-life repercussions that extended beyond music. 50 Cent, always the strategic provocateur, brought Ross's personal life into the public eye, most notably by leaking a sex tape involving the mother of Ross's child. This was a particularly low blow, even by rap feud standards. Legal battles ensued, resulting in millions in damages. Yet, more importantly, a boundary was established that neither man ever crossed again. So, when Rick Ross casually mentioned fishing with 50 Cent's son, it was more than just a show of bravado. It was a calculated jab. Fishing is a serene, personal activity that involves patience, bonding, and trust. Ross wasn't merely stating that he spent time with Sire. He was suggesting that while the boy's real father was absent, Ross was the one providing a genuine experience. In the same breath, he referenced Diddy and Star Island, not with hostility, but with his characteristic indifference, as if he were commenting on an ordinary day. In hip-hop, nothing is ever as straightforward as it seems. By 2025, with the culture hyper-aware of every word, nuance, and clip, a particular moment hit hard. Social media exploded. Comment sections buzzed with speculation, alliances shifted, and once again, Rick Ross and 50 Cent found themselves at the eye of a cultural whirlwind, not due to new music, but because of nostalgia, history, and pride. This moment also delved into a deeper issue, the portrayal of fatherhood in hip-hop, how legacies are maintained, and how men in this realm leverage their roles, not just as artists, but as fathers. Ross's portrayal of himself as a calm, guiding figure in Sire's life sharply contrasts with 50 Cent's well-documented troubled relationships with his sons. His eldest son, Marquise, has publicly criticized him for years, and now, with Ross's subtle revelation, questions arise about his youngest son as well. It's complicated, personal, and quintessentially hip-hop. What Ross is doing, whether intentionally or not, is creating a new narrative, one where he is more than just a mogul, rapper, or businessman. He is a guardian, someone who steps up when others fail. By linking this image to 50's son, he seeks to alter the narrative that 50 has crafted over the years, where Ross is always in a position of inferiority, always the target of 50's intricate and harsh tactics. But now, the dynamics are shifting. There's another important aspect to consider: Diddy's involvement in this narrative. Sean Combs has recently made headlines for negative reasons, allegations, raids, and scrutiny surrounding his past actions and influence. So when Ross mentions Diddy in relation to making content with Sire's mother, he's not merely referring to a situation or a moment. He's linking her, and by extension 50, to a man whose public image is currently deteriorating under the weight of controversy. That's the cleverness of the statement. It conveys a lot with few words. It positions Ross as the hero, the stable figure, the reliable man amidst chaos. It casts 50 Cent in the shadow of absent fatherhood and connects the entire situation to one of the most scandal-plagued figures in the industry, all without raising his voice or appearing confrontational. That's why the conversation around this moment is so persistent. For once, Rick Ross isn't dissing anyone or engaging in social media battles. He's allowing his legacy to communicate in more subtle yet equally impactful ways. He's using calm as his weapon. In a genre where loudness has traditionally been the primary tool, silence can prove to be even more formidable. This raises an important question. What does this mean for 50 Cent? He hasn't reacted yet, at least not with the same intensity we've seen in previous years. Perhaps he's waiting for the right moment or selectively choosing his responses. Or maybe, just maybe, he understands that Ross has struck a more sensitive chord this time. When children are involved, especially presented with such calm assurance, the dynamics shift. Now, the public is paying attention. They're on standby. If 50 does choose to respond, he can't rely on his usual tactics. No more trolling, memes, or mockery. Those approaches won't suffice anymore, especially when the discussion revolves around themes like fatherhood, protection, and being present. Not when Rick Ross is portrayed as the composed mentor, the provider, the man who took another's son fishing while others were busy seeking attention and content. There's also a broader commentary here regarding how hip-hop's veterans are transitioning into new roles, whether they like it or not. The era of constant diss tracks and feuds for entertainment is diminishing. Audiences are becoming more empathetic, and the culture is shifting. So when someone like Ross presents a moment like this, it resonates in a more mature, nuanced, and ultimately impactful way. This isn't just about fishing, it's about who is there for others. And that's what makes this moment so striking. Ross isn't portraying himself as a saint, nor is he loudly branding 50 as the antagonist. Instead, he communicates through silence, suggestion, and a single sentence that carries the weight of experience. In doing so, he's seizing control of a narrative that has always felt just beyond his grasp. Make no mistake, Rick Ross has always been overshadowed by 50 Cent when it comes to their rivalry. 50 was louder, funnier, more ruthless, and more precise in his attacks. He turned Ross into a punchline on multiple occasions. However, as we reach 2025, the dynamics have shifted. Ross is no longer engaged in 50's old battles. He's in a different arena now. In this new game, presence equates to power, and moments of silence can reveal a lot about one's character. We don't know how much time Ross spent with Sire, the context of their meeting, or if 50 was even aware of it. But that's not the main issue. What matters is the image, the implication, and the transformation of how people perceive the situation. In this culture, perception is everything. Whether this moment will spark a new chapter in their rivalry is yet to be determined. However, it's clear that Rick Ross has executed one of the most surprising, impactful, and strategic moves in hip-hop this year, all without releasing any music. All it took was a fishing pole, a name, a location, and a rich legacy. The streets are paying attention, the blogs are abuzz, and one thing is certain, this conflict is far from finished. It's simply evolving. The men who once fought with fire are now learning to succeed with water. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on the story.